Hello, I've pretty much taken my model into a Mudbox, and because we're running it quite high at the moment, that's why it's going to be really slow capturing this. What I've done is I've gone and subdivided my model by pressing Shift D, and I'm currently on level 6. You can work your way up on the way you want to do this, so I could always drop down and go to the level down. So if I just go to mesh and hit page down, I will come down one level and I can choose which level I can go back to level 0 again. And I've just started slowly sculpting some of these, using these brushes. I started sculpting some of this detail in, for instance, around her. I'm using her image as a reference kind of point to actually put some of the detail in, and then using the smooth brush, for instance, to just smooth bits of that out. And again, this is totally up to you how you want to do this. I'm not going to put too much detail in this, because obviously this is a long process doing this. Again, you can see I've sculpted this a bit too harsh there. I can flatten that out. This is like the move brush. You can just grab it and move things around. There's the pinch flat. It's pretty straightforward as well. So if I start using that on the bit that's a bit too harsh, I'm flattening it out. Again, that's for getting harsh edges. Foam one's quite nice. It's just it works like clay. Really, it does. So you would kind of use this for that again to make blobby bits. The one that's quite interesting is also, all these have obviously they're good and pros and cons for what they're used for in specific cases. So I put the strength down to 0.2 because the strength is too hard. So this is the clay one. This is quite cool. This with mixture of with the mixture of soften, it kind of works really well. So if we go on here and start adding a bit of detail in that area, just making that quite flat at the moment, and just so we can see what we're doing. Again, because we're working in high res and we're recording as well, that's not gonna like that. We'll need to smooth that at some point as well. So yeah, you can play around with the brushes, just more brushes again. A knife is a good one. Make sure it's the strength is put down. So for instance, if I want to put this kind of detail in, it's allowing me to do that. Again, I can use steady stroke, for instance. That's probably a bit too harsh, but I can use this stroking option to start putting some of this detail in. Again, so I'm using that image as a reference and just pretty much putting that into my model. And what's going to be happening is it's going to be appearing on the actual geometry. So again, I'll probably do something similar and probably not as harsh for that. If I go here and put the strength to down to 0.2 maybe. This is one way you can do this. Again, for the hair, there's various ways that you can actually start get this kind of detail in. Another option would be to use the sculpt tool, but use one of these brushes here, like lines maybe. Let's go for that one, and drop down the stroke size on, and put the strength. See what the strength is. That's a bit too strong. So if we put that down to 0. No, that was right. So let's put that to 0.2 for now. Maybe 0.1, it's better size. Yep, and let's put that strength down to 0.5, so half of what we had before. Again, it's too harsh. Maybe put the size up again. Put that to 2, and you can slowly start painting these kind of details in. Use a smooth option to kind of smooth the harshness out of it, but you can still get the detail in. You'll use a mixture of these brushes to get that kind of detail in there. Again, you'll start off in layers as well, so just get some of the detail in here. Again, I'm doing this very roughly. You'll take more time, so you can see this detail is coming in. It's really struggling right now. So I'll smooth that out, maybe get a bit more on the bottom lips, just to get that kind of texture there. Again, this is really rough. You're gonna be putting in how much level of detail you want to put in. Again, for the hair as well, maybe put the harshness a bit up to actually I might use the wax option for this, and I'll put the same kind of brush on for that. So have that on, make sure it's on steady stroke. Probably put the size up a bit. Let's put the size up to 0.4. So yeah, let's put that there. Just make this come to the center so we can see. And let's try sculpt the same kind of settings. It's a bit too harsh. Put the strength to 0.15, and we'll keep the brush the same size. Try not to cross over, but what you can do is you can start actually getting some of this detail in there. Again, it's up to you if you want to create your own brushes to do this. You could always use the ones that are given, or you can create your the powerful thing about this is the fact that you can create your own brushes as well. I'm just showing you this really roughly so you can kind of get the idea. So when we export the normal map out, we'll have some kind of detail that we can see within 3D Studio Max. So the hair will be quite cool to do because they're just quite easy, just strokes that I can just quickly go ahead and do. Actually, I'll make the brush even bigger, so let's go for 1 for now. Just, I know they're not exactly real hair, but if I keep doing this, it kind of creates that kind of effect. So additional to your texture, you've kind of created this sculpt now, this detail, and the idea is that when you load up your normal map, this detail will kind of be exported out for that. So you most likely need to use smaller brush for this. I'm just doing it quickly so I can show you the example. So again, imagine if that's our detail pushed in. It's really rough. So if I go and take off my texture, for instance, so if I go my paint tool and go into my paint options, turn my texture off, you can see this kind of effect here. Again, you can have it off and kind of fix it again. If there's any bits that you need to sculpt with this off, you can actually go in and add those bits in, keeping in mind all the detail that you need to do. So far it's been quite, there's not much that we've added. The other thing that I can do is pretty much use another stamp or your alpha channel to kind of do the skin. Again, we can use some of the randomized scattering options here. What I'll do is I'll pause the video here and I'll start a new one.